Okay, so here we are on the pro-Dupnik side. Can you guys tell me why you support Clarence Dupnik?
Well, the primary reason, the first reason, is that he has a right to his freedom of speech. Let's not forget that he is an elected official. He's an elected official. He's not hired by supervisors, and as such, he has a right to express his opinion, particularly when it involves crime. A crime, a serious crime was committed of heinous proportions, and we would expect the chief law enforcement officer of our community to talk about why those crimes were committed. What is the source of vitriol? What is the source of agitation, if you will, for violence that that people like Jared Loughner come up with.
So you don't buy the idea that hate speech has nothing to do with crime?
I just don't think it's possible here. I mean, you don't have to go out and look very hard to find this sort of material. It's insidious. They pump it into more or less every home, every household with a cable subscription. We have a radio station called 104.1 The Truth that encourages people to listen for what the truth is this week. It's these sorts of disinformation networks that are causing all of this hatred, this fear, and are supporting actions like this. Because let's not remember, what happened is not an isolated incident. Gabrielle Gifford's office was shot at. John McCain's aides are resigning because an African-American fellow, people pretending to point guns at him, people like the people that we see across the yellow tape right now.
Right.
This is not an isolated incident. This is a countrywide phenomenon, and we need to take action, and that's why I support that.
Well, yes, and we see that the Americans Against Amnesty, Immigration Amnesty, the guy behind that is a talk show host. We see John Justice from The Truth here in Tucson behind the other folks, and also Fox News. And so the people who are using the vitriol are the ones who are complaining about Dupnik, is the way I see it.
And you know what? If only it was these isolated individuals who were the problem, that would be one thing. Unfortunately, we have an entire political party in this country that is being supported by that type of rhetoric, by that type of fear, by that type of misinformation. And people like Senator John McCain and Senator Kyle need to take an honest look at what they've been doing and how they've been getting elected and what sort of institutions have been set up to keep them where they are and what the effects of those institutions have been on their constituents.
Yeah, it seems like the little tiny glimmer of civility is already gone, right?
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily just about civility. You can say a lot of things with a lot of different types of tones, but when you have people like Glenn Beck going on television and accusing the U.S. government of what amounts to treason during wartime, you are encouraging people to take extreme and violent actions. Those sorts of situations are situations that we can't cry wolf about, because some people in this country are going to take the sorts of actions that if this government was tyrannical, that maybe should be considered. That's why you have to be very careful about crying wolf like some of these conservative pundits have been.
Right, and the thing is that we have to consider the atmosphere in which that type of speech is broadcast. Because in Arizona, we know that it's very easy to obtain a very lethal handgun. And in fact, we know now that Jared Loughner also possessed extended magazine for his Glock weapon of 30 rounds. And in fact, that accessory to that pistol was banned up until 2004 when the Assault Rifles Act expired. So we have the combination of anti-government hate speech and very, very lax weapons laws to allow people like Mr. Loughner to get such a lethal weapon, and it's a very, very dangerous combination.
in my opinion, all it takes to make a terrorist is to fill a guy's head up with crazy ideas and give him a gun.
Right.
And I've seen that happen I've seen that happening institutionally in the United States from these conservative organizations. I mean, you know, like I like to tell these people, you know what? Maybe you don't like the estate tax. Maybe you'd like to take home more of your income. But that's no excuse to to misinform people. That's no excuse to fill people's heads full of anger and hate. And that's no excuse to once the chicken comes home to roost and violence does occur in the streets, you can't just disown what happened. And that maybe might be the most disgusting part of what's been happening lately. The way that we've seen these hate mongers, these fear mongers, continue to spread these insidious ideas, these violent ideas, these crazy ideas.
Look at the slogan.
And then say, "Oh, it's not me."
Second Amendment solutions.
Remedies.
Yes.
Second Amendment. I mean, well, they're really are agitating, inciting people to violence against political representatives that they don't agree